Hi everyone, I'm Linsey Davis for a very special edition of All Access here in Paris, where the cast of the highly anticipated Disney movie Avatar Fire and Ash has assembled for their European premiere. I had a chance to sit down with them, along with movie director James Cameron, here in the City of Lights, to talk about the third installment of the blockbuster franchise.
This is the only pure thing in this world.
It's an exhilarating, action-packed, cinematic spectacle with what's been called Titanic heartbreak.
No, Spider.
Already nominated for 2 Golden Globe Awards.
We must fight!
It's the latest visual marvel from Academy Award-winning director James Cameron, the third installment of the blockbuster franchise,
I'll kill you! I swear!
Avatar Fire and Ash. We got a chance to sit down with some of the cast ahead of the glitz and glamour of the global premiere under these Parisian lights. Let me start with a huge congratulations, because I don't know if you all have heard some of the reviews. One of them begins with, it's a reminder of what movie theaters were built for. Another one, a cinematic spectacle. Another, James Cameron, 3 movies in, still has the sauce.
Yeah.
So, let me begin with you, Mr. Cameron. In a society that increasingly is described as having a short attention span, how do you still manage to create 3 hours and 15 minutes? You grab us, you pull us in, and never let us go.
Well, I think the answer is in the question, right? So when we have all this stuff coming at us all day long, and when we're scrolling and multitasking and doing all of these things, we actually long for a moment of focus. And that's what the theater can give us. I've made a deal with myself to go into that theater and have an unbroken experience, whether it's 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours, and we don't get that much in our lives, right? And it's increasingly so. So I think people still value the theatrical experience.
How do you balance the large-scale world building with the intimate family storytelling?
Now that is a tricky problem as a filmmaker. And I'm actually really proud of this film for the intimacy juxtaposed with the big spectacle, the big adventure and all that. But I think the scenes we took the most seriously were the ones that were 2 people talking in a room. And I think they're as compelling in many ways as some of the big spectacular action sequences. Certainly the scenes I'm the most proud of. You know, there's stuff between Zoe and Sam that goes on for 4 or 5 pages, and you're absolutely riveted, and you feel her heartbreak, his vulnerability, those things. We wouldn't go on this journey, and it wouldn't engage people to the extent that these reactions are showing if it wasn't for the people.
In Sigourney, Stephen, Sam, Zoe, you guys have all been working together with Jim now for, 18 years at this point. But was there something in this latest installment that you still found newly inspiring?
Absolutely. I mean, the man is an incredible writer, and I like reading his scripts more than anybody's. First of all, you're reading it and you're going, well, how's he going to do that? How's he going to do that? But the truth is that they're so rich with such important themes and you know, like how to process grief and a mixed race family. How is that going to work? We don't shy away from real life while we're giving you the fantasy of your dreams.
I actually think that's a key part of grounding this film that takes place in this phantasmagorical world. Is no matter where an Avatar film goes in the world, it seems to have worked that people connect emotionally and in terms of their life experience in some way. So this film, the last one and this one, are very much about family and, you know, the bonds of family and how they work for you and against you.
You are very hard on them.
I'm their father. It's my job. part of the genius of the film, it seems to me, is that for longtime fans, it gives you so much of what you expect to see, the ferocity of Neytiri, the stalwart bravery of Jake Sully. But this one also delivers in new and surprising ways, because each of the characters is just deeper, richer. Their problems are much more manifold than they were before. And so I think it delivers on both levels. It gives you, it fulfills your expectations, but also gives something new to audiences, which will create new expectations.
I think that fans are familiar with Neytiri, right, for several years now, but I think in this latest installment, we're still discovering new layers of her, and I think she's all at once resolved and detached and angry and sad. Was there a particular scene or moment where you felt that Neytiri demanded more from you as an actor?
It pulled a lot from me. Sam and I were welcoming a family when we were shooting Way of Water and Fire and Ash in our personal lives, and then we would have to strip away from that joy and come to work and live in the skin of both parents that were bearing a son. And that was unimaginably difficult, and I'm grateful that I didn't feel ever alone. I had Sam, and we both have Jim, and Jim as a father himself. You know, we kind of held each other during those difficult scenes, but we're so proud of them because Jim did not want us to be anything but transparent of our interpretation of loss, and it was very healing. And then watching it and seeing how people are connecting to that was very rewarding.
This family is our fortress.
Certainly grief is a major theme. When we start off, Sam, we're meeting Jake again, coming to grips with the loss of his oldest son. Do you feel that we find Jake now more vulnerable, more hardened, or something else entirely?
I think Jake gets betrayed by the code that he grew up with, which was this military code. That's his default that he goes back to in this. And he kind of loses all the Navi ways that we've built up over the last two movies. And I think the problem with that is it then tests this marriage that Jim has been exploring. You know, the first movie is about a young guy falling in love. Natural progression is they have a family. You know, now we're really testing what this marriage can survive in these circumstances. Your
twin 11-year-old sons have not seen Avatar yet. When might is that in the future?
Yes, of course. They'll let me know. What I love is the fact that my children have a deep awareness of their own pace, and they know what they can process.
Oona, you're new to the group here. What drew you to this character, Varang, who has been described as beautifully unhinged?
She's only been in for 8 years, so that makes her a newbie, apparently.
Yes. I am new here. I'm the new kid on the block. It's great.
The fire came from the mountain, burned our forest. My people cried for help. But Ava did not come.
What drew you to this really captivating, intoxicating, dangerous, and deadly person?
James Cameron. And the world of Avatar. I mean, I watched the first film without ever thinking that I would ever get to meet any of these guys, you know? And so for me to jump in, I mean, it was a dream come true. But then above and beyond that, to then get given the incredible gift of a complex and multi-layered person that had so much history, and then to try and fill that history in every moment, that was a big responsibility for me. Like, she's gone through a lot of trauma, and you talk about grief with these two, but she's gone through a lot of grief. You know, she lost her land, her whole way of life, her family, and her great mother, the source of all of her faith. So she has suffered a lot of loss, and I took that really seriously. And that loss and that grief is at the pit of her rage, but she's become very comfortable with rage, which was really fun for me. And yeah.
the sweetest human being on the earth.
Her alter ego.
Right?
But
It's
tell
called
us-
acting.
Yes, exactly.
It's Sigourney, tell us about the shift for you, starting out playing Grace, and then now for the second and third installments, you're Kyria, a teenager.
Yes, I mean, they're really at opposite ends of the spectrum. Grace is a chain-smoking, hard-drinking, impatient, frustrated botanist working for the company. She's really comes alive in her own avatar. That's where she can do anything and she can help the people she loves.
Why am I different?
So, I mean, it was a real gift to me to be asked to be able to go back into this world as someone who is born into it and who is born into this family as confused as she sometimes is and has this incredible connection with nature, which has, if anything, really increased my connection with the forest or with the ocean, the lessons of how our fellow creatures on Pandora are equal citizens of the world, unless you're the company killing them, is such a great reminder to us of something Diane Fossey certainly believed in, that we don't have exclusive rights to this planet. We must share with other species and help protect each other, just like the Sully family.
I'll be nice once, then I won't.
Stephen, your character is really complicated for a number of reasons, but it seems that he's able to love and hate almost at the same time, really with regard to Jake and with Spider. What do you feel motivates him?
Well, originally he was motivated by a sense of mission. I think that sense of mission is beginning to, he gives it a lot of lip service, and it still is active for him, but it's beginning to get a little bit tattered. The planet is, and Awa, the spirit of this planet, is operating on him in a very, very deep way, and it's very confusing to him. Therefore, when he finally goes to where the ash people are, he is in a very, very, for the first time on this planet, a familiar milieu. It's the sulfurous smell of war that really turns him on. It's a little bit like, if I might just quote Bob Duvall from, that movie where he says, "I love the smell of napalm in the morning."
Yeah, that's
that
right.
really is a Quaritchian kind of characteristic as well. There's death here. There's fire and death, and it's a total turn on.
Seemed personal there.
It's all personal.
Still ahead, more from Paris and the cast of Avatar, Fire and Ash. The younger members of the blockbuster hit join us.
Yuri, come on, this way.
What it was like growing up with Avatar and working with some of the biggest names in Hollywood. A lot of people don't realize how intense, how long it takes.
I've gotten to be a part of this Avatar family for more than half my life now.
And later, James Cameron gets candid about his connection with nature and what's at the heart of this epic saga.
This one especially takes you outside yourself and allows you to look back at the human race and what we're doing so badly.
What if every human being on Earth could live here without a mask? Then the Na'vi people will be gone.
What does that always say?
Sully sticks together.
No, the other one.
Sully's never quits.
That's right. Sully's never quit.
Do you all remember the first time you ever saw Avatar, the first one?
Yes. Yes.
And what was your reaction when you saw it?
They have to make a sequel. Like, genuinely, yeah. I was like 7, and I remember thinking, like, man, they have to make a sequel.
I saw it as soon as I got the audition, and even though I was watching it just in my living room on the TV, I did feel immersed. Without the 3D, all of it, I was just awestruck.
What does it feel like to be a part of the franchise?
That's a big question, because I think we fully don't understand how grand it is, because I think then it'd be overwhelming.
Right.
Is it more difficult to act as a character? I guess this doesn't apply to you as Spider, because you're you know, we actually see your emotions and everything on your actual face. But when it's an animated character who you are really at the heart of, is it different?
It's definitely different. I think because it was our first project, that's all you know.
Right.
So you dive into using your imagination more than anything else. And that becomes a superpower as an actor, because a lot of, you know, the cameras behind us right now in this interview can sometimes be a distraction. And we were forced to use our imagination as our superpower.
So I don't think I'm giving any spoilers, because it actually appears in one of the trailers where we see Spider without his mask, breathing on Pandora. So talk to us about that revelation.
How do you still live?
I remember filming the air breather scene with Trinity, Sigourney, and Britton, and I just remember it being very like emotional and just a very, I felt a lot of pressure and like, oh man, am I gonna do this right? And just as far as the story goes, I think it adds a lot of pressure and unwanted attention to not only Spider, but the Sully family, because now there's Ash and everyone's trying to get Jake, but now there's this thing that every human could have, and that could just so many bad possibilities.
And give us a sense of that idea of found family, because that really is a big theme.
A huge theme.
Right.
We see a lot of just different beautiful examples of family in Avatar, from mixed families to different cultures to the chosen family, which is the main thing we're discussing. And I think with that, it's just showing the Na'vi's connection and their love for connection and how they seek connection and just to see each other, really.
The strength of the ancestors is here.
I found throughout the movie that it was almost like from scripture that the children shall lead them, right?
Yes.
That the kids were really taking a stand and giving the parents some direction.
Yeah,
definitely.
And I think especially with Saraya, who the Sullys came and she thought her world was calm and good and she knew what her life was going to be like. And all of a sudden, so much destruction in the way of water entered it. And now we're seeing her have to decide, how am I gonna create change? She knows what's right in her heart, but that's always been approval from mom and dad, from Tonawara and Ronal. And this is something I feel every child is going through, every young adult is going through right now in the world, is what is right for us will have to be different than what was right for our parents, and how we move will have to be different in order to create that change.
When you talk about growing up in Avatar, I think a lot of people don't realize how intense, how long it takes. Give us a sense of how many years you've been working on it.
Jim reminded me the other day that I've gotten to be a part of this Avatar family for more than half my life now. So that definitely does put it into perspective.
I mean, that to me, that was just such a big thing, because I got it when I was 12, and then I like officially rapped when I was 16. So it's like all my, just I guess, you know, formative years as a teenager were spent on set with Jim, with the crew and the cast, and it was, I mean, it really is like my teenagehood, my childhood.
Billy, how would you describe this movie for those who have yet to see it?
First, it's action-packed, and it is a film about grief and loss and what that can turn us into. Do people choose to take it up and lead with their chest held high, or do they cower over and become the enemy that created the destruction in their life? And all while being fun and immersive, and there are still laughs, and it's a great adventure, and I'm so excited for audiences to see it.
I put my head against your chest and listen to your heart, 'cause you are my home.
There are so many mirror images to the environments that we see playing out on Pandora to real life issues. How intentional are those parallels?
Oh, very intentional. Way of Water and Fire and Ash were written 11, 12 years ago. So I couldn't have anticipated the sort of the darker time that we're in now, where there's so much hatred and intolerance, and our ability to negate the feeling and the worth of other people seems to be at an all-time high. but human nature was not unfamiliar, you know, to me. And so the intention was to say, we have to break this cycle of violence predicated on kind of revenge or hurt or pain. Like the journey that Zoe's character, Neytiri, is on is from the hurt of great loss and a personal tragedy. Her eldest son is taken from her by the Sky People. She translates that into a deeper hatred of the Sky People than we've ever seen her have before. And she lost her father also to an attack by the Sky People. Now we've got this young character of Spider, who's a human being in the midst of this Na'vi community and this Na'vi family, who's now being forced to live with them because he has no other place to go or be. And so he's just kind of in a way wandered right into the spotlight of her hatred. And yet we like Spider and we like Neytiri, we like all the characters. We want them to figure this out. I think we as an audience yearn for them to have some kind of a resolution to this. If she continues, if her character continues down the path she's on, she's going to wind up like Varong. Varong is acting from hurt. She's empowering herself by exerting that power over others and inflicting the pain and loss that she felt. We don't want to see Neytiri go down to that dark, twisted place any farther. So we put our characters at risk. We put the marriage at risk. We put the father-son relationship at risk. Everybody's relationships are stretched to almost to the limit, but ultimately their superpower. I think all of these characters, their family is their superpower.
Whether it's cultural preservation or emotional resilience or environmental care, are there real world issues that speak to you through Fire and Ash?
What Avatar does, it removes us from this human sort of like condition that we have, that if we don't want to see something that upsets us. So Jim travels us light years into this beautiful planet and shows us what we are doing to ours.
Yeah.
It's important to see sometimes what truly takes place and to do it in a way that is safe through storytelling.
It's safe.
That makes you want to come home and sort of go, oh boy, am I doing enough? Am I saying enough? Or am I doing too much and saying too much?
There's no such thing
No
as
such
too
thing,
much.
exactly.
Well, I think, you know, to sum up that, it's these movies, and this one especially, takes you outside yourself and allows you to look back at the human race and what we're doing so badly, but also what we're doing well, from nature's perspective, right? But it also shows us ourselves through the lens of nature in terms of all of the greed and the extractive industries and the willful destruction of nature. It allows us to see ourselves kind of through that lens. And the Na'vi, I think, represent our better nature, and then we see our worst nature expressed by you know, the humans in the story, most of the humans in the story. Because I think it's fun that you can go to a movie theater and have this kind of escape adventure where by the end you're rooting for killing those bastard humans, you know? How crazy is that? I mean, but that's the kind of thing cinema can do, can take you on a journey and project your mind into other characters and other perspectives.
Thank you all so much for the time and conversation. Really appreciate it. Our thanks to the entire cast of Avatar: Fire and Ash. The movie opens in theaters this Friday, December 19th from Paris. I'm Linsey Davis. You're watching All Access. We'll see you next time.